Shalom Yerushalayim Zeu Shari Rashechem.
Shalom, everyone, and nearly Shabbat Shalom. Today is Friday. It's the 25th day of the Hebrew month of Nisan. Today is May the 3rd, and this coming Shabbat, we will be reading the weekly portion called Acharei Mot, which starts on Leviticus chapter 16. And the portion begins with the Lord speaking to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, after they have brought profane fire before the Lord. And then the portion begins with restrictions, restrictions for the priests in terms of how to come before the Lord, how to come before him, how to serve him, how to enter into his holy sanctuary. What should they wear? What should they behave? In what way should they even think? All those things that are included in that are basically putting restrictions in us coming near him. And it's very interesting that this is, I mean, we read about the two sons of Aaron in chapter 10. And then we've had about 5 chapters in which we didn't discuss about anything that happened there. And all of a sudden here in chapter 16, we go back, and the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron. This would be more appropriate for it to be in chapter 11, after we've read in chapter 10 about what happened on the 8th day when they brought that alien fire before the Lord. Why the wait? And there could be, of course, a few answers. I think that the most interesting answer and the most relevant answer is an answer that really puts the weekly portions in relation, in contact with time, with the calendar. We can read the word of God, and just like to think about it as something that happened and it was all relevant for those guys, and we basically read it as a historical document. But that doesn't really go in. It doesn't go into our hearts. The real way to read the word of God is to know, is while knowing that it's speaking to us now. It spoke to them then, yes, and it spoke to all the generations in the past, but it is also speaking to us now, and it is relevant in every generation. When examining these portions in the Jewish calendar, we see that these portions talking about the two sons of Aaron, they always take place in exactly in the same time in the Jewish calendar when we commemorate, when we indicate here in Israel, when we indicate Holocaust Memorial Day, which is going to take place on Sunday night, in 2 days from now, Sunday night and during Monday. And a week after that, is we're going to indicate National Memorial Day, remembering all those who have lost their lives in battle in order to build this country, either in battle or in terror activities. And these portions talking about the two sons of Aaron dying, they always fall in the Jewish calendar around this time of the year, between or right before these 2 days of Holocaust Memorial Day and National Memorial Day. And it almost seems that the plan was from the start that it doesn't matter what kind of year you're in, either 12 months or 13 months, something that we've discussed a little bit in the past. You will always read about Aaron's sons whatsoever. It's always going to be there. So if we want to be able to handle such a heavy and profound and I would even say difficult days in our identity, in our national calendar, in very much in our Jewish identity, our Israeli identity, such as Holocaust Memorial Day and National Memorial Day, you have to remember the two sons of Aaron. You have to remember what happened then. You have to remember you have to remember the words of Moses. This is what the Lord meant when he said, I will sanctify myself through the ones who are closest to me. I will be magnified and glorified through you who are the nearest to me. God said it in the book of Exodus when he gave all the regulations about the priestly garments and the sacrificial work. God said, I will be sanctified through you, through the priests, through the ones who are closest to me. And after the two sons of Aaron died, now there is time to restore the relationship, to go into a reconciliation with the Lord. And the Lord is giving them / us, is giving us the way to do that. Remember the restrictions. First of all, remember where I am and where you are, which is not the same place. If we are going to restore our relationship, to reconcile, then we first have to go back to the starting point of understanding who is the maker and who is the one who is being created. And only after that, if you keep those restrictions, if you really build inside of you, you build this sense of awe. When you come before me, we can continue to the next step, which is the next steps, which lead us to greater intimacy. So it doesn't matter which kind of year we are in. It's always these portions, either the one in Leviticus 10 or this one, Leviticus 16, in which we read about the two sons of Aaron dying, remembering that the Lord has his ways to magnify himself, to be glorified. It's one thing to think about two priests 3,336 years ago going through what they had gone through. It's something different when it comes to 6 million people about 80 years ago. And people that you are close, you have family relations with. Personally speaking, I was born as a consequence of the Holocaust. My grandfather had a family before the war, and his entire family got murdered by the Nazis. Only after the war, he met my grandmother, and my father was born, and then I was born. So it brings all sorts of questions. It's huge. I mean, what the Israeli nation, what the Jewish nation is going through as consequence of what happened all those years ago is still kicking inside of us. It's still something that we are dealing with. And if we want any kind of inspiration, of ways to think about it, to deal with it, we really have to go back to the two sons of Aaron and remember what the Lord said, I will sanctify myself through the ones who are nearest to me. May we live to see that and feel God's comfort in these days. Shabbat Shalom.